Shalom, my brothers and sisters. How are you guys doing on this beautiful Sabbath day? I hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing fantastic. What I want to talk to you guys about is basically the image of Christ. I've been wanting to talk about this a lot because a lot of people, don't know the real image of Christ. People don't know the real, truly color of Christ. And it says it in the Bible many times. But I'm going to just give you about a few precepts to the color of Christ. Also, I'm going to talk about color since everybody, says that color doesn't matter. So let's talk about this, man. All right, here we go. Revelation chapter 1, verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ. So we are about to witness what Jesus Christ, Yahushua, looks like, which God gave unto him to see unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. So what does that mean? So John is about to write down everything that he sees. He's about to write down what he looks like, everything, all of the good stuff. Okay? So let's go to verse 14. And this talks about Christ's image. Because we all know what Christ, the image that we look at now, looks like, right? So let's look at verse 14 and see if there's a good comparison. Revelation verse 14, or Revelation chapter 1 verse 14. My fault. His head and his hairs were white like wool. So first things first. So who has woolly hair today? If you look at the Chinese man, the white man, the Arab man, they don't really have woolly hair. Who has the woolly hair that y'all know today? So-called black people. So-called black people today have woolly hair. We have woolly hair than any other species, than any other race. So why are people telling us that this image right now today that we have, which is a white person, have woolly hair when he actually has straight hair? That's a red flag. Let's continue. As white as snow. So he was an older male. Okay. And his eyes were as a flame of fire. So we all know that Christ drank a lot of wine. Back then, people drank wine, a lot of wine. So what happens when a dark-skinned, a so-called black person drinks a lot of wine? What happens to his eyes? They get bloodshot red, or they get red, right? So what happens when a dark-skinned person wakes up in the morning and they're really tired? What happens to their eyes? Get bloodshot red or red. So why is it that the image that we have today, why is it blue? Why are his eyes blue? They should be red, bloodshot red, flaming like red, but they're blue. That's a red flag. Man. So let's go to Daniel, because a lot of people say that no one has ever seen Christ. A lot of people say that, an image doesn't matter, this and that. An image doesn't matter, all of this stuff, blah, 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 you know what I mean? And that's false. That's false. Image does matter. It matters a lot, because if it didn't matter, if image didn't matter, I wouldn't show you the image that we have today, which is Christ, which is so-called white. I wouldn't show you that image, and then you would say, well, that's Jesus. So if he was a dark-skinned person, what would he be then? Oh, that's not Jesus. So color means something then, right? If I give you a falsely image of a white picture of Christ, which is so-called a white male, you guys would be like, oh, well, that's Jesus. I thought color didn't mean anything. So you're being hypocritical to what you're saying. Okay. Well, that makes sense. You know, that makes sense. Okay. So let's go to Daniel. Let's go to Daniel chapter 10, verse 6. His body also was like the beryl. So what is beryl? What is beryl, right? Beryl is basically jewelry. Basically a gemstone. So he had jewelry on him, right? And his face has the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire. Didn't we just read that in Revelation verse 14? Didn't we just read that? We just read that in verse 14. So they give us this image of a white person with blue eyes. That don't make no sense. Okay. And his eyes, and his arms and his feet like in color. But I thought that color didn't matter. I thought color didn't even exist in the Bible. Like in color to polished brass. So why the fuck are they going to give us a white image of somebody that doesn't add up to the Bible? Man, let's continue. And the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude. So his voice was like waters, right? His voice was like water, smoothing, just like an ocean sound, right? So hold this thought. Daniel chapter 10, verse 6. So let's hold this verse in our heads right now, right? Color, polished brass. His eyes flame. His eyes were lamps of fire. They were red. So let's keep this verse in our heads right now, and let's go back to Revelation. Let's go to Revelation chapter 1.